We're it. It's real time. Appreciate you all joining us
That's some vinyl
live here.
community. Being in the
Yeah,
vinyl community.
the vinyl community 2025. Can you believe the year is over?
I can't believe how many records I bought.
Yeah.
You bought or
Unbelievable. This year to
sold?
come. Like, what? Am I an idiot? I guess so.
I tell you, Todd, I cracked up when I was watching a video about the struggles of selling at record shows, and one of them was that sometimes you buy more than what you actually sold.
Yeah.
Like that, I think
That's
that would plague
I
me.
made one
That's
of them.
God. That's God.
I made one of them. It was very documentary like, very scientific. So, whatever. If
You,
don't
you
watch it.
guys may have
At
bought
least
more
now.
vinyl than me, but I don't know that anybody has bought more percentage than I. My vinyl collection has grown over 4,000%. Now that's because I started the year with 0 because I sold 2,500 pieces of vinyl 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But still, a large percentage.
Well, you do have a very healthy CD collection.
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Yes.
do. And
very
that
valuable.
even that collection I've sold off in an enormous amount. I have about 800 CDs now, but that was up to like $3,000, about 10 years ago too. And I just started trimming all the fat that I really don't listen to, and I didn't think I needed anymore. Because as at least me, as I've gotten older, my tastes have changed.
Yeah, that happens.
It's gone from the Partridge Family to other
Archies.
families, and
I
mean,
thought
that
CDs
happens,
would never go out of style. Like I remember CDs, of course, me being a kid that grew up in the 80s and 90s, I thought CDs would never go away. And then I can remember, Napster coming out, the very first thing, and putting a bunch of viruses on my parents' computer.
Napster. Yeah.
That and
Downloading,
the
illegal music.
other
I'm like,
stuff.
this is great.
Napster.
Yeah,
It's really Napster, Grandma.
Yeah. What was the other, like Bear Share? I remember a
Yeah.
bunch of the other ones back in
Yeah.
the day, and then I'm just like, wow, I can take music with me in this little iPod. I remember when the iPods first came out; they were like $600. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't.
Yes, they sure were.
Oof.
Yeah.
They sure
I
were.
never bought one.
Yeah, it's insane, and now
I
everyone
have a-
wants physical media again. which is
Yeah, I have a
crazy.
little Sony Walkman now. They reintroduced the Walkman as a FLAC player, and I have all 800 of my CDs
In FLAC, yeah.
on that in
High
FLAC.
definition FLAC. That's
You know,
good.
it's
Lot-
great.
Do they come
They,
with a Walkman that plays those 3-inch vinyl singles that Record Store Day loves to release that nobody will ever play? Like,
Yeah, no.
If you've ever seen one of those.
that would be brilliant if somebody would come out with a portable player for that.
Well, if it said
Yes.
Beatles on the side, somebody'd buy it.
Well,
It-
yeah,
it's-
but when
yeah.
they release those, it would be great if they released the player on the same day. So if somebody wants to buy it, they didn't have to depend on having had it from last Record Store Day. But
Hey, very, very fair. Very fair. Hey, look, I'm kind of curious before we get kicked off into our finds of the year.
Mhm.
I want to go around the table, kind of give everybody a chance to sort of introduce themselves to the community that's watching on both YouTube and Gigaverse. We're simultaneously casting this today. So cool. You can join us in either platform. If you want to interact directly with the host, Gigaverse is the platform. We are live streaming also to the Vinyl Latte YouTube channel. I am monitoring the chat there. So hi to the folks that are watching from that stream. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I got some folks from the vinyl community. We're here to talk about our favorite finds of 2024 and some of the must-haves, things that we're looking forward to coming out in 2025. But I'm just kind of curious, and Larry, I'll start with you. Anything that really stands out to you just in general in the world of music or in the world of albums over the last year? Did anything like really hit you, or just kind of curious to your take on the year?
Well, my dog is barking outside my door, and I don't know if you can pick up that audio.
Every
I
time.
apologize.
That's the
But
typical
anyway,
excuse.
yeah, I would say there's a couple things that I think are kind of interesting going on in the music community right now. I think there's a large set of eyes on vinyl sales, CD sales, streaming success, and vinyl was out of sight 20 years ago. CDs were the king for a few years, and then streaming was the king for a few years. Vinyl's come back, and now it's like they're all kind of battling to see which format is going to be king. Is there room for two kings in that space on the format that we use? So I'm very interested, because very often when I'm looking to buy music, whether it's on Record Store Day or just a weekend, I have to make a decision. Do I buy it on vinyl, which will be more expensive, or do I buy it on CDs, or do I figure a digital manner is good enough? And so there's all sorts of different reasons why I would buy one format over another. But I am very interested to see how that plays out and how that battle progresses this year.
Yeah, and if there's room for both, like you said.
Yeah.
Because then the other argument is that people are saying cassette tapes are coming back, which blows my mind. But
they are. I don't understand that, Louis.
I've been playing them all day.
You know, I really, that's the one thing I don't get. You know, every single time you play that cassette, the tape gets stretched a little more, and it's just, I don't know. You play vinyl, and whenever I play my vinyl, I play it from beginning to end. I am an album listener, not a song listener. And you know, I guess with certain formats that lends itself more to that. But you know, I just don't get the comeback for cassettes. You know, Sony just announced about 5 months ago they're opening up a new cassette manufacturing plant. Like
in my backyard, Mike.
What
That's
the heck?
Flags are back
Who's
there.
buying all these all this music new on cassettes? Todd, you know, Louis, you saw at Record Store Day, some of these releases were coming out on cassettes.
Yeah. But who am I to judge, though? I'm a guy who buys new vinyl records, which there's other people that look at me like I'm freaking crazy. So as I look at somebody buying a cassette like they're crazy, I guess equally can be eyed and viewed to me, right? Like, what
you know,
doing buying that
if they have a beautiful cassette deck at home still, hey, who's to say, you know, it doesn't sound great when they pop one in there, you know?
Yes, that's true. What about you, Mitch? Any major surprises in 2024?
Well, for 2024, I think that I couldn't believe how long it took the UHQR Steely Dan catalog to come out. It took like, 2 years?
It's still not out all the way.
It was just a lot. Like, that was one of the biggest surprises, were how I felt there was a lot of things delayed.
Mm-hmm.
That was my big surprise. And the big surprise of, you know, is vinyl finally reached its peak, and is it, you know, going back out of style? Because everyone was saying, like, what, the 33% in vinyl sale drops. I remember there was a bunch of videos on that, but you got to take that with a grain of salt too. You know, I think vinyl's here to stay for a very, very long time, and that's just not my personal opinion. But I think it's just, especially with this new generation coming up, kids that are in like their late teens, college age, like, it's a big thing to them, because it's something that they never ever saw in their lifetime. Because I'm about to be I'll be 39 next month. So I can remember, even in the early 90s as a kid, seeing records still being sold at like Sam Goody back in the day.
Yeah.
So it was still a part of my life, and then it just like went away, and it was like,
Well,
okay,
what
now
brought
it's
you
coming
back in? I mean, so obviously you were at in that era of CDs, and so at this point, what brought you back? What's, you know, what you're like, you know what? I just want to start killing this vinyl thing.
I just, you know, I was in high school and before I joined the military, and I just thought I'm like, what is it? This thing is huge. Like, I don't know what it's about. And then I can remember my uncle, who's a musician, my dad's brother, had a really nice vinyl setup too. And he's like, you'll never hear anything better than on vinyl. And then, of course, it took me another 20 years to actually perfect that sound, because I had a shitty record player for so many years. And then most of my military career, I really didn't have the time to listen to it like I do now, because I was constantly deployed. I was gone a lot. You know, I had other obligations. So it was literally during COVID well, I really got the chance to really start enjoying this hobby after collecting for 15 years and
Right.
playing it on a all-in-one QVC record player that my mom got for me 15 years prior, with a needle that probably ruined most of my records that I had at the time, but I didn't know. So,
Yeah, well, hey, a lot of people have experienced that and still do experience
Hmm.
that. In the comments in the YouTube, Elliot was saying that he's waiting for the 8-track to come back. So
Yeah, I'm not.
oh, I don't think that's
That's
gonna
never
happen.
gonna happen.
I
maybe
don't
one
want
day.
that one coming back.
You know what? I'll break an 8-track in here just to prove that I don't want an 8-track back.
Man, at least that's a media you could play one track and hear the bleed through on the other track on the other side, right? Like that was always.
And you know, Todd and I were just talking about this.
Right.
One of the things that I can't believe we put up with as listeners with the 8-tracks is if the song was a long song, the odds are it would fade out in one of the 4 channels and then fade back in on the next channel. And you're like, how did we put up with? Can you imagine listening to Stairway to Heaven or Freebird, or in my case, I had Joe Walsh's Life's Been Good, and it was fading in and then, oh my goodness.
Dude, how can you know what? Think about that, Lair. Do you think they couldn't space out Life's Been Good when they knew that was going to be a hit? That song is an incredible song.
You know what it
Why
is?
did they put the damn thing in the middle of a track?
They weren't concerned with spacing them out because the artist had a certain order in which the cuts were. So they had to have that in the order. So that really screwed them up. But you know, I remember the first 2 8-tracks I bought was Joe Walsh, but seriously, folks, and Helen Reddy, I Am Woman.
Hey man, not cutting on you or anything.
My taste is, you know, all over, baby.
Well, you were listening to some Bee Gees the other day on a
that's right.
Show. I don't know if y'all saw that little gig we played up on the front end of that.
Yes.
What about you?
By the way, I don't think we ever introduced ourselves, Louis.
Yeah, you need to. That was what the whole idea of going around was.
I was like, what are we all doing? You know, we're just diving in, which is fun.
Diving in.
I'm Todd from Graybeards Nation, and my partner, Larry. Larry's my partner. So we're both, you know, I mean, Larry's probably a little graybeard more than me, but you know, regardless, we talk about all sorts of cool things, and you know, we are a fan. And not only that, we're a supporter of the Vinyl Latte and Mitch's Vinyl Corners channel. So both of them on our side. Yeah, we try to throw some love your way when we can. You know, we're busy people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Larry, do you want? Oh, you kind of did it right. Well, there was a question. You posed a question, but let's move on to the next one.
We're going to get into our favorite finds here in just one moment. I wanted the room to get settled in the live to get pushed out a little bit, but before we do, any major takeaways from you, surprises, things that caught your attention as we go into, you know, from last year?
You know, I really haven't had a whole lot of time to think about that, but I will be honest. There were a couple of things that may be minor to most people, but to me, they're personal to me. And I will say that this year, I really enjoyed the fact that they really put a big focus on the album, Yes, Fragile. You know, and it's not everybody likes the album, and I get it. I mean, it is a little bit, you know, there's a lot of solos and stuff people take in there, and that's fine. It's progressive rock, and as far as I'm concerned, kind of what kicked it off. So I'm very happy that, you know, I got the Rhino release one where they had all, you know, of course, all done by Steven Wilson. Even the demos and outtakes were properly done. It's not like you're listening to some scratch tape. You know, you're listening to what he sat in behind the controls and really worked his magic. And I'll tell you, Steven Wilson, if you see him at work, he's amazing. He's really amazing.
Well, and Chad's doing it with Analog Productions, right? Wasn't that one of the titles announced coming out soon?
I think the Atlantic 75.
Might be.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, I'll get that too. I mean, why not, right? It's a kind of a collector thing for me. There's the worst thing I could be doing, trust me.
Yeah, a lot of focus on it. Well, as we round out the year and we start the new year, I thought it'd be cool just to kind of hear from the community, and the folks in the chat, feel free to share yours too, but some of your most favorite finds in 2024, and it's kind of left open that way. You define what your favorite find means to you. I'm going to share what that means to me when it gets to my turn. But I figured we can get that kicked off. I'm going to randomize it a little bit more this time, so we're not going in the same order all the time, just kind of throw you off. But Mitch, do you want to get us kicked off? Are you ready? Or
Yeah, I'm ready. I got them pulled up right next to me.
all right,
This
man.
one might be a little bit long because I have a bone to pick with this company.
We got time.
So
Are you going to do a rant?
yeah, the Doors.
Did you sign a
box
NDA
set.
for that, sir?
Yeah, this was the best thing I'd gotten in 2024. However, I have a bone to pick with their customer service. Rhino, if you're listening, your customer service sucks.
Sure.
They are absolutely horrible. And the reason being, I did this on my video. I had unboxed it. None of them came with the Obies.
Oh yeah, the OB.
So I contacted them, and
these are the letter stamped or the number stamped Obies, right?
Yeah, they're the number stamped Obies.
Hmm.
Apparently, they are unable to send me the ones that are numbered, only blank ones. So, and it's been a constant back and forth since after Thanksgiving. I'd gotten a final message yesterday after I told them, hey, just send me the blank ones. I don't care, but I want some compensation. Like some money back, a 50% discount. I'm like, I will continue to buy from you because you put out good products. It's just your customer service needs to get their head out of their ass.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty brash when it comes to that. Like,
sure,
I
get
tell you, yeah, like just fix the mistake. Like you made a mistake. It's okay, but you need to rectify it. The fact that they can't give me the numbered ones really just sounds kind of cheap. It's like you have a plant there that can press the number on it. The number's 1906. That's all you got to do. And I explained to them, like, look, this will depreciate. I'm not trying to sell it, but I'm like, it depreciates the value if I ever do come to sell it.
You need them to send you a letter, like an actual letter, not an email.
Like,
you need them to send a letter like this is a sanctioned numbered copy. Then you have something unique with your box, which might actually increase the value versus depreciating it. But I think that would be cool. Like a letter of apology or something would be really cool and stick in a box set.
The issue is I send them an email. I don't get a response for 2 weeks. That's the
maybe
problem.
what they should do is you should send them in and then anything to kind of validate them. Just have them put, number 19, and then have their signature Rhino Records.
Mitch,
that's why you got an autograph copy.
I've had problems with various companies and their customer service.
Or send
I found emails, sometimes even phone contact is just so. But when you get on their social media and you start embarrassing them on social media, they respond very quickly.
That's how I got an attention. I actually went to LinkedIn, to the company's profile website on LinkedIn, and made a statement. And that day, like in an hour, somebody reached out to me to rectify that problem.
Absolutely.
So, go to social media.
Now that you guys mentioned something like that, that's probably what I'm going to do. And because I even linked in the video, because the video I made for my channel, like, you got huge response from it.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of people in the comments like, bro, you got to get your Obies. Like, which I was trying to, and I linked Rhino the video. Like, you can see me unboxing it. It didn't come with it. Like, I'm telling the truth here. Like, I'm covering my bases. But that was my bone to pick. It's a great box set. It's phenomenal. They sound great. The individual titles I know are going to come out within the next month or so, and I recommend everybody to get them.
Well,
I'm not going to say that they're better than the Analog Productions because that's 45 RPM, but I think this is going to be maybe palatable to most people.
Audio Snob figured out your customer service issue. He's stating that it's all an AI bot, and that's the problem. So,
yeah, cheap.
It probably is. It probably is. Like, I want to speak to a rep. Some AI stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, great! You just waste, just like this in our chat. This is pretty cool. Let me ask you something. No, I'll ask you later. It's something I'll write it down so I don't forget to ask.
Okay.
I don't want to do while we're live. I'm getting a little too comfortable here. Let's begin at that.
Get as comfortable as you want. Mitch, any other good finds, man, besides the box set?
I do have a couple, but I like the idea of just going around. We can just go around the horn, do one at a time.
You want to do one at a time? I'm okay with doing that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah,
How
let's
about
do
you,
that.
Todd?
That's what we did on the one we did with you
Yeah,
guys couldn't
yeah.
make it.
I like
I know
that
you were
idea.
on vacation. Not your fault. I mean, I wanted to get one out, and that's a whole other story. But hey, good idea.
Good idea. You go next, Todd.
Get one out, Todd.
Am I going first?
You're
You're going second.
What the hell am I doing? Now, you guys got to keep me on track around here. What the hell? What do you want me to
Mitch
do?
went first.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You're living the Gray Beards brand, Todd. That's what you're doing.
I'm not trying to pay too much attention, right? I'm trying to keep it nice.
Well, while you figure that out, just call out here McLovin, which is I love that name every time I hear it. He got himself Badlands, the self-titled, and Badlands Voodoo Highway were his big scores for last year. So cool.
Nice.
Thanks for sharing that with us, man. All right, Todd, I bought you some time. You got one? We're only doing one. We're going around the room. One. We're going to go around again.
I thought Mitch was first.
He went.
I
He
already
did the
went.
doors.
I didn't make comments on
Now,
that.
that
didn't I?
gray beard is probably
sorry,
because of
guys.
dementia.
No, that might be true. Okay, sorry. Let me take this.
This is how you know it's live and not
Yeah.
pre-recorded
Yeah,
or
this is
scripted.
live. Yeah.
So, one of my favorite bands is Riot, and this year I was able to get the series all the way from 87 to 88. This is when they really started getting heavy, and it's sure, is it hair metal ish? It is, but it's very progressive. It's a good progressive metal on here, as compared to like their earlier albums, right, where they were a little bit more rock and roll, late 70s and then moving into the 80s. If you ever get a chance to listen to Riot, you wouldn't appreciate the compilation, but I was going to say, this is one in 2024 I bought from Phil, actually, that I was really looking forward to. So it's on some pink vinyl. I won't show pink vinyl, but you get it. That was one of my favorites. So,
Larry?
If you play the pink vinyl, does it sound like pink noise?
Ding.
All right.
Old man joke.
Today,
I'll start with one. This is probably going to be my longest explanation of one. We talked about this a little bit before the show, but this is Mark Knopfler, Guitar Heroes. And the cover is actually amazing in addition to the performance of the song and the music video, which I urge everyone to go to YouTube and check out the video that they made. It is unbelievable. The technology they used to reflect every note that is being played by whom is unbelievable. Now, I'm going to read real quickly some of the people that played on this song. But before I do,
I'm going to take a drink of water.
Okay, he needs it.
All right.
This is the list.
All right. Todd Rundgren, Mel Collins, Joan Armatang, Jeff Beck, Joe Bonamassa, Paul Carrack from Squeeze, Eric Clapton, Ry Cooder, Steve Cropper, who played with Sam and Dave, Sheryl Crow, Roger Daltrey, Dwayne Eddy, Peter Frampton, Vince Gill, David Gilmour, Buddy Guy, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, Joan Jett, Albert Lee, Alex Lifeson from Rush, Steve Lukather, Dave Mason, Brian May from Queen, John McLaughlin, Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick, Nile Rodgers, Mike Rutherford from Genesis, Joe Satriani, John Sebastian from The Lovin' Spoonful, Slash, Bruce Springsteen, Ringo Starr, Sting, Andy Taylor, Susan Tedeschi, Derek Trucks, Pete Townsend, Steve Vai, Waddy Wachtel, Joe Walsh, and Ronnie Wood.
There.
I mean, and like I said before,
How long
if
is
you
that
like
song?
Mark Knopfler's music,
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. Just go get it.
So what that
I
means
love
to
both
me-
Dire Straits and his solo music. I actually find his solo music very, very relaxing and very beautiful, as is this song. So that was one of my top big boys.
Nice
With a
lad.
list like that means nobody's getting paid for that song.
Yes, it was done for charity. It was
Yes.
all donated for charity.
That's
I
good.
forget, which is really, really terrible, that I don't remember off the top of my head the charity. Teenage Cancer Trust is the charity that everybody
Sounds legit.
donated their time to do.
Yeah,
That's really
sounds
nice.
good.
All right. I struggled. and I know I'm the one who set the topic, but I struggled because I grabbed so many amazing records this year. I mean, if those who are fans of Vinyl Latte that's watching this, you know my haul videos. I mean, I just did a video today, which was 3 boxes of records that I hauled in December. So I pick up a lot of records, and these are records I like and I enjoy. So I try to think about things that went for me, like where I got at like a really great price, a great record at a great price that I just, if I would have tried to buy on like Discogs or something like that, it would be too much, you know, well, not too much, but you know what I mean? Like a lot more, or things that kind of like bookend a discography for me, you know, kind of completed out a collection. So now I can finally say done. And the first one I want to start with is more on the discounted price. This is Thelonious Monk Riverside Sessions. This is our Riverside Tenor Sessions. This is the box set from AP. This is the original box set. This is from '98. Okay. So this is when they released. I grabbed this, Larry, when you were doing the paragraph of performers. But this is where they released the actual real, you know, albums inside the box, not just the artwork, right? So you have all the individual albums as well. And what was great about this box was that not only are all the records in mint condition, well, near mint, right? Because they're opened, let's be honest, right? It looked like they were never played. The only thing that was bad about this box is that the spine got worn out. So it doesn't say Thelonious Monk. It's kind of, and it was for $200. This box set, this one goes for way more than $200.
Yeah, I'm sure
and
it does.
I was the whole time I'm going through, I'm like, there's going to be 1 record or 2 records are scratched. Like I'm just waiting for it to happen, or something's missing from the box set. I'm like, there's no way this is being sold for $200. Perfect across the board. Perfect across. I got it for less than what you can buy this reissued, and I have the full album. So for me, this was a great find.
I'm a big Monk fan. Are you, Louis?
I am.
Yeah. Do you know his connection to the NFL, Thelonious Monk? There was a Washington Redskins wide receiver. His name was Art Monk. And for years, he held the record in the NFL for most receptions ever in the history of the game. And they're related. They were, I don't know if it was cousin, niece, nephew, but
fourth cousin twice removed.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. See? Thanks for dropping a little bit of trivia knowledge.
There you go, baby.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go kick it back over to Mitch.
All right. So I went to Austin Record Show this year, and I spent over my budget that my wife had set for me. So, you know.
None of us can relate to that, Mitch.
No.
Never happens over here.
But I was able to pick up Pearl Jam's first 3 albums, all original U.S. presses. So Pearl Jam 10. Pearl Jam is my favorite grunge band. You know, they're still great today. I would love to go see them. However, tickets are just ridiculous to go see bands like that anymore. You know, which is a shame because they started out as like, you know, the anti-authority, anti-everything, and now they're just part of the machine. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But
I gotcha.
But yeah, this is fantastic. This is an original. So the funny thing about this is that this came out in 1994 because 10 came out in 91, but you weren't able to get a U.S. pressing until 94. But a lot of people say the U.K., which came out in 91, or the U.S. are like the prime ones. And this was, I bought this for about $250, which was actually under market. They go usually about $400 or $500, but the dealer I had known from when I was stationed in California, he was at the show. He was from Australia, so he was real happy to see me, and so he cut me a deal on this one. And it's like VG++. It plays great, so definitely happy to have this one.
Is there a reissue of that, Mitch? Of that album?
There is a reissue of that. There's been a couple, so I actually talked about it on my channel, one of them. But if you get like the Redux versions that they did, I think maybe 10 years ago, those ones are not that good. Oh. I had them. I thought they didn't sound, I thought the CDs sounded better, or even the MP3s. But there's a version out there right now that's like $20, And I heard that one. A lot of people rave about it. You can get the different like you can get like the Target one.
Yeah.
It's like purple, but it uses the same plates. And I heard if you just want to get a good solid Pearl Jam 10 album, I heard that one's fine for most people.
Oh, it's a great find.
It is.
Yeah, it's my favorite PJ album, man. We got
Mitch,
Tom
you
Misch.
talk about your rebellious artists who then fall into the machine as they go on. I always thought, and I'm older than you, but like U2, when they first came out, like Under a Blood Red Sky, they were all about fighting the machine. And I think as time has come on, they kind of just slipped right into it. You know, they're just another gear.
Again, yeah, and it's weird, and not to get political here because that's not what we're here to talk about. But I think everybody knows that maybe it's a lot of this that does the talking now to a lot of these bands, and they've kind of lost their way, and it's a shame. It is, but still gonna listen to their music. You can't stop me from enjoying it.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a few of those, right? We have a few of those. We continue to listen. I do anyway. You know, I listen to them. You know, these are I won't buy anything after this album. I'm sorry. I won't acknowledge I like you, but in secret.
And I agree, Mitch, big time with that one. That you slipped in there real quick.
Yep.
Todd, because you probably need a minute again, we got Tom Misch being brought up in the chat. We got Tony Martin's Black Sabbath box set. We got ZZ War being brought up. Nirvana, MTV Unplugged. So we got some great albums being brought up in the chat.
I want to say that was one I wish the Black Sabbath Rhino. Damn it! I wish I had one in my hand and I didn't buy it, and I'm regretting that. I should have bought it because now it's out of print again.
Come over. I should have bought it if you want.
Is it that good?
I heard it's really, really good.
It is really good.
It uses the U.S. Warner tapes, so not the Vertigo.
Right.
So, and a lot of people were just like, "This is the one to own," but they already made 3 runs of it and already sold out again. I was like, but that one's not going to go out of print. They would be stupid to just not have that anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think I've heard rumors that the rest of the catalog is going to come out, which would be amazing. That would be great. Because Paranoid's going to fly off the shelf.
Yeah.
If Paranoid comes out this year, that one's just going to, you're going to have to fight to get that one.
Is it, Louis, you just say I was up next?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have a script in front of me. So I actually did pick up, though, this, then Larry knows about this one. I just told him about it the other day. It's not necessarily, and I love it. It's a very good recording. I mean, this is the best he's ever done, isn't it, Larry? And Larry's a huge B.B. King fan.
There's a lot of albums he's cut that are the best he's ever done, but that's one of the best live albums ever.
Yeah, and I guess the whole thing about this is I have it's kind of on rotation. It's actually out of rotation now. I've got the sticky thing on there. I get the sticky stuff for going into archive, if you will, and then I keep the other bags over the other ones. The regular ones you just pull out. So you're not always doing that nightmare with it. Anyway, the thing is that this whole thing cost me $5. So that was nice. That to me was kind of like, okay, I'll go with that. So I was very happy.
That's what we call a wedding saver.
It is. It's like, all right, just look at this. Yeah, she's got. So it was a good deal.
Yeah, nice pickup. All right, Larry.
My next one is, and a lot of the titles that I'm bringing up are not the most well-known musical titles because I like to stretch out and listen to a lot of different types of music. Progressive is one of my favorite things. King Crimson is one of my favorite progressive bands. And this is an album that is made by not only former members of King Crimson, but other artists as well. It's called Reimagining the Court of the Crimson King. And I misspoke earlier when I said Todd Rundgren and Mel Collins were on Guitar Heroes. They're not. They're Todd Rundgren and Mel Collins, along with Ian Pace, the drummer for Deep Purple, Jacko Joksic, Joe Lynn Turner, and Carmen Apiece, all play on this album. And it's the music sonically it just excels, and it's so fun to hear a little bit different interpretation of some of that classic King Crimson music. And that was this is one of my favorite albums to pop in the player and listen to on my FLAC player or behind me on my stereo, wherever.
Yeah, and that came out last year? You said, Larry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're always on top of all that stuff, and then you tell me about it, which is kind of a good trade-off, right? You tell
There
me,
you go.
Hey, Todd, you got to get on top, like that Deep Purple we bought this year. Wow, I absolutely love it. That one's the one that with the Dweezil Zappa, right? Dweezil did the mix down on that. It's pretty good.
Sure did.
Yeah, I don't even know. You probably can still buy them.
Him and Roger, the bass player, Roger Glover.
Roger,
yeah, they both are really hands-on for re-engineering and producing, and they both do a terrific job. Roger Glover also has some specific Glover remixes of a lot of the Deep Purple albums, and they're sonically unbelievable. Taking classic music and making it sound even better. Win-win.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nice. Larry's a collector of both vinyl and CDs, folks, in case you're wondering. He always brings a very unique perspective across both genres of types of music. All right. So this next one for me, not only am I a huge fan, for those that follow my community for a while know that I have a very wide stretch of taste of music. And I listen to practically anything. Sometimes I have to be in a mood to listen to certain things, like country as an example, or classical. I actually bought several classical albums this year, some really good pressings of things that I found. And then even with country and stuff, but I have to be like in the mood, and it's like
Mendelssohn.
See? I mean, you just got to be
right
in
with
the mood. But one thing I really, really love is reggae. And you have to be, I think, a Bob Marley fan to appreciate reggae. So I actually got both of these this year, but this is the one I think I like the most. This is Exodus, the UHQR version.
Yeah.
I was able to pick this up sealed along with Rastaman Vibrations from the same seller, and he cut me a deal, which actually just priced out to about the cost of one of these sealed on the aftermarket by the time I bought them. Wow. So I almost got a 2-for-1.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Which is amazing. And I got to tell you, I have several pressings of Exodus. Old copies, new reissues, etc. By far, this is, in my opinion, the definitive pressing. I have never heard Exodus sound so dynamic, so live. Like Bob is in the room with you playing, like you feel the energy on this pressing. Chad did a heck of a job on this one, really, honestly. And I would love to see like Chant Down Babylon get reissued or something. That's the one with Lauryn Hill and the Turn the Lights Down Low. A lot of people don't recognize that album. That's a fantastic album. Hasn't given the audiophile treatment ever. Love to see somebody come out and reissue that one. But I would love to see Chad do more Marley if he has access to it, because he killed it with both of those pressings. So
yeah.
Very nice, Louis. I'm also a big Marley fan, and I have 2 live recordings by him. One live at the Roxy, which but there's another one called Live Forever from 1980 at the Stanley Theater in Pittsburgh, which is a double live album, which is a fantastic underrated recording by him. If you don't have it, it's worth going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back into I have a lot of Bob Marley albums. It's one of those things I don't even know what I have anymore, so I have to look into that. But thank you for the recommendation for sure.
The reminder. Go through all your.
I'm the idiot when I'm buying records. I have Discogs open, not the price check, but just to see if I have the damn thing already.
I'm always on Discogs.
We know your secret. You're in there price checking, scanning things, throwing things.
You're charging me $2 more, damn it!
You're just throwing the back of the floor.
All right, Mr. Mitch.
All right, so the next one was from the Atlantic 75 series, and I had an original pressing of this, and it blew it out of the water, and that's Crosby, Stills, and Nash, the debut album. I love Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I've said it before. Neil Young. I love the Neil Young stuff too that he did with CSNY. Neil Young's my favorite artist of all time, minus his other views that he has. I have all of his albums. This album just sounds incredible. Chad did an incredible job. This one just blows it out of the water. And I'm sure that later this year, when Deja Vu gets released, as well as the 77 self-titled, the one with all three of them on the sailboat, that one's supposed to be getting the Atlantic 75 treatment this year too.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be picking those up. But this was a great find.
Yeah, Neil Young, good stuff.
You know, I just got a Neil Young in the mail today. It's downstairs.
Really?
It's not in my office yet. But it was when he was in this country phase of his touring with the International Harvesters. And I have a live album that I just ordered last week. And my wife just, pulled it in from outside. And I don't even remember the name of it. I have to go check. But
nice.
Yeah, I kind of like that. He had a lot of different phases, right, Mitch? He had the reactor phase, the folk phase, whatever phase he did, he went in deep to make it as authentic to that genre as he could. You got to respect that.
For those in the chat, if you want to go check out Mitch's Vinyl Corner, I did do a whole video on my entire Neil Young collection, and I do a deep dive on a lot of his stuff and his eras because he is my favorite artist. I've been into him. I got into him really heavily in high school, and this was in the early 2000s when Green Day and hip hop and all of that was really going on. A lot of my friends, I was one of the older ones in my friends group, and we'd be driving to parties, and instead of playing that crap like that, we'd be playing like Leonard Skinner and Neil Young and the Doors parties. They're like, "What the hell is this, Mitch? Like, what are you doing?"
No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, do you? I know on your video you did of your room. It's like your first video, right? Number one.
The
very first video.
That's the most views. Video. It's got like 15,000 views on it.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, okay.
But I saw that you did have like some memorabilia, like posters and stuff of Neil Young.
Yeah, I got a huge Neil Young poster.
Oh yeah, that was one of them. Or that's maybe new. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
Louis, I think you're up. No? Yeah.
Are you reminding me again, Louis?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to remind you.
I don't have my counter
stream there, Todd.
I'm trying to,
Todd, stop. Mitch is first.
This will be my last.
It's like I just went.
All right, this one I've it's a reissue, but this was one I bought this year. I got it. It is in pristine condition. It's never been played. When I took it out, when you take the inner sleeve out and it's still kind of pressed like it just came fresh. That was it. I pulled it out of there. I'm like, ooh, this is a beaut. And so I immediately cleaned it up, and it's on RCA label. This is really an excellent album. If you've not heard Scorpions Fly to the Rainbow, this is like it's before like psych rock mixed with classic rock mixed with metal. So again, if that's your thing, I don't even know what they call that genre. Waste of time.
Was that before Virgin Killer, Todd?
That
was like the first.
Yeah, I think
it
was before. I don't know.
Killer. Yeah.
I've always just wanted that one. I mean, Virgin Killer is a good album, and the one before it too, which was the very first album, the very first Scorpions album, is actually a really good album. Lonesome Crow. That's a good. I have an original pressing of that. It's a German original pressing, and it is good. It sounds great.
Man, Scorpions, what a band, man.
No doubt.
I love the Scorpions. They're
too.
Kick ass. To see them back in the 80s would have been killer.
Yeah, I did a couple times. It's great. You're right. They were all, that Klaus Meine, he's like a spider across the stage, Mitch. Just crawling from the rafters. It's really cool to see. Not anymore now, granted.
Because both Schenker brothers were guitarists for them, right?
Yeah.
Because Michael was the main one. And then the other one was, he had left the band before like their big 80s peak, right?
I know we're kind of getting off a little bit maybe on a tangent, but I will say this, and there was something I just got to tell you guys, and you may care, you may not care. The audience may care. I don't know who's going to care, but we're going to find out. But I saw this today earlier. It came up in my feed about ex-Slayer drummer Dave Lombardo. Him and his wife are going to, with Gary Holt, the Slayer guitarist, are going to cover the Scorpions' Animal Magnetism album.
Oh,
yeah, that's brand new. That
that'll
just
be
came out.
pretty
That came out like a few hours ago. So, yeah, I was just reading it right off there. It's pretty much what's. I'm like, okay, I can't wait because Dave Lombardo is an awesome drummer. Again, probably a little out of, maybe a little too much out of context. We'll leave it at that. Let your imagination take it to the next phase or whatever.
Yeah, Audio Snob sharing that the 70 Scorpions were terrific.
Yeah, they were.
You know, I used to shoot darts with, I used to be a part of a team. And one of the guys on our team was this guy, Nils, and he was from Germany. And when we go over to his house to practice, that's all he'd play, Scorpions. There was no other music to be had or played. And it was amazing how into the Scorpions Nils was.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew they made so much music that we could keep listening to them night after night. And I'm like, oh my God, just put the greatest hits on, please. And you listen to it, and
this was a band.
They really were good.
You were in a band with this guy that listened to the Scorpions all the time, or I didn't.
Dart team.
Oh, Dart team.
Dart team.
There we go. Yeah.
Nothing but bulls.
I think personally, Love Drive is the best Scorpions album in my opinion. That song in itself just has a killer guitar riff. It's just so good. When I'm working out in the garage, I have sandbags in the garage. Whenever I'm doing cardio or doing like my sandbag workout, I got the Scorpion just blaring on my iPod. It's great. I love it.
Louis, we're taking you a little off the.
You're good. Oh, I'm going to throw you all off when it's my turn, but right now it's going to be.
Larry's. Oh yeah, I've done my last one. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I have one more, but it's not worth mentioning. I talked to you about it the other day. Patient number 9.
This is Tony Levin. Most people don't know who he is. He's one of the best bass players probably in the world. He's played with King Crimson for years. He's played with Peter Gabriel for many years. And he not only plays the bass exceptionally, but he also plays the Chapman stick. He's one of the best players in the world of the Chapman stick, which if you don't know what that instrument is, it looks like a bass. But it has, instead of like 4 strings, it has like 12. So it gives them, and there's no frets. So it's tremendous creativity needed to play it and make it sound great, which he's done. But he's a tremendous bass player. He's one of the kinds of bass players that, it's not like a lot of people listen to music and say, wow, what a great bass line. His music, you listen to it and you're like, wow, that bass line is freaking insane, and he's just that good. So I was very excited. I haven't even taken it out yet. I just picked it up, but one of my favorites from that was released last year. I have heard it, just not my vinyl copy of it yet.
Cool.
And that was a vinyl, wasn't that, Larry?
It was.
It was very good for you to bring a vinyl to a vinyl community chat.
I'm not bringing my SpongeBob vinyl in. I could if I had to prove vinyl love.
Actually, that SpongeBob vinyl was actually pretty good, wasn't it? It was surprising. I thought, oh, well, here we go. Some children's record or some. No, it's not.
Good. You can make fun of it. Go ahead.
I'm not.
Don't make fun of it. I saw you making faces, everybody.
No. It's okay. I like it. If you're listening to it, do you have it on regular rotation, Larry?
Wait, how do you get you have you heard it?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very good. I mean, you can't argue.
I remember
with the
when it came out.
It.
Remember we talked about it on the live stream? We were going back and forth.
Sure do.
Yep. And you were telling me I think it was like 16 artists that play in that that were really good.
Yeah, it does have a lot of featured artists for sure. All right, I got one. I'm going to throw some people a curveball, but also share some things about me in the past. I don't know if I shared on the channel before. So, long time ago, sounds like the beginning of a song. I did promotion for a record label called Psychopathic Records, and I worked with the band Twisted. So I'll bring it out sometime. I'll feature in the channel maybe for fun, but I have tons of like old promo stuff, singles and promo material and stuff, all from Psychopathic Records. But because I did that for a while, I became a huge fan. And of course, the head band there was Insane Clown Posse. And they had this whole stick of this, the Dark Carnival and these Joker cards. And they came out with this like first issuance of the deck, which was supposed to be the only issuance. And then they decided they wanted to make more money and came out with deck number 2. But I think it's the 8th album in the deck is this one. This is the Wraith Shangri-La. This is a very hard to find record. They only pressed, I think, 500 of them or something like that.
Wow.
Never been reissued. This is usually, if you find it, it is beat to heck. I've seen copies water damage, scratched to heck. Like it's very hard. This I found sealed. And the person that I got it from, I purchased other records from, and I told him kind of the story. So he cut me a pretty big discount on buying this record. But this was the last record I needed to kind of complete the original, Joker cards, if you will. I think now in totality, I'm missing 2 of their albums, and I would have their whole discography. One, I do like it. The other one I could care less if I ever get, but I will get it just to complete the collection. But this had a little bit of a personal thing for me, just because of nostalgia of, kind of supporting them when I was young and innocent. I don't know. But
You were innocent once? What happened?
Maybe I laughed when I said it. So you take that out. You want to take it,
Can't edit this,
Can't edit this, but yeah, I just think that's cool. It just it has a personal story to me. Whether I spun it once just from nostalgic standpoint. I don't know if I ever spin it again, but it just meant something to me to have that as part of my collection because it's part of me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Really cool.
Mr. Mitch.
All right, I'll finish up. I'll do 2 because I won't spend too much time on them. Neil Young's Freedom. This was like his return to form after.
Wait, do you like Neil Young?
Yeah.
Do I like Neil Young? Didn't he mention that before? One
Before
thing I
me.
really appreciate that Neil actually does with all of his releases, he's very upfront with the sourcing material. He was actually, I think, one of the first ones that actually really started doing that whenever he had like his original release series. So he'll put it on the back. Yeah, this one is mastered from, this is 4416 digital, but he'll have on the back like sourced from the original master tapes, cut at this speed. Like he's very thorough and very, very detailed. But yeah, this was like his return to form. And then Ragged Glory came out after this with Crazy Horse. He reunited with Crazy Horse, and that one just came out too, and I forgot to get it last year, but hopefully pick it up this year. It should be readily available. And then the last one, I was debating on getting this, but I'm so glad I did. And it's a band that, I had a lot of their greatest hit. I had their greatest hits, and everybody knows them, but Talking Heads debut album. This thing is so good. I can't believe like this was made when it was made. Like it sounds like it could have been made today.
Please stop making sense.
Like, it's just, and then just reading about the Talking Heads, I couldn't believe like how big they were in the 80s. Like they were huge.
You ever see them perform live? Even on video?
Well, to Stop Making Sense, yeah, that's when I was like, oh, these are the guys, because I heard, Life During Wartime. I got their greatest hits and stuff like that, but I'm like, going into like a lot of their deep tracks, like this is some really good stuff.
I tell you, man,
really happy I picked this up. The box set is out too, and I was debating on getting it, but my wife's like, no, because you hate box sets. You got rid of all your box sets because there's only one thing you want in it.
Everybody's
the only thing I wanted in it was the live album from CBGB back in '77, like one of their very first concert, and I wasn't gonna pay $150 just for the live album that I really wanted. But this is great. It's good. The second disc is all the outtakes and stuff, which I really dig. So this was a really good pickup.
Big band in a big suit.
Yeah, it's funny how like they evolved from like I would classify their first album as like proto punk, if
Mhm.
that's like makes sense. Like it wasn't like Sex Pistols or the Clash, but then like I
Is
think a
it
lot of people
proto?
always
It's
refer
like
to them as like college rock
proto punk,
too.
postmodern,
Proto punk,
aftermath.
college rock. I mean, them and like REM can be classified in like that sense. But
Yeah.
what a band! Really, really good. I got to get all
Yeah.
their stuff now.
They kill it live, and I really want to put a pedometer on any of their band members, man, because they must burn a million calories a show. I just don't know how you have the energy to put on a show. They're nonstop. They're like doing exercise classes while they're performing. I don't understand how they can make it through a show and then do that night after night on tour. My body would die. I have a hard enough problem just getting my records from downstairs to upstairs, let alone all the other crap.
Yeah,
You know,
you're bringing them in by forklift. That is difficult. It'll break down a crate.
down the grade.
Earlier in, what was it, last year, we had our get together, and you were saying that you had piles of them sitting at your doorstep.
I
Like,
still have
nice.
2 boxes, and I have a
This is the
stack.
perfect time of year. We talked about this too. Remember, this is the perfect time of year to ship records because it's cool outside. You don't want to ship them when they're hot.
Yeah, this is the time.
I got warp too.
This is the time. Do you want to talk about your Aussie?
Patient number 9?
Yeah.
I don't have it up here. I mean, I have that from last night.
Yeah.
So it came, and it's not worth even looking at. It came in like a thing that when you get something from Amazon, it's got a strip or you rip it off. It came with one of those. I'm like, I just can't do it. So I'm using a razor blade to cut around there because I'm saving this outside thing. It's just a collector, I think, in me. And then I pulled them out of there, and it has a comic book, 2 purple vinyl 180 gram. And you wouldn't believe the guitar players on this damn thing. Zach Wild, who else is on there? We were talking about Jeff Beck. There's, and it's just, the thing is killer. Even my wife likes it. So, I mean, it's Ozzy, wife, like it.
Ozzy always gets great musicians to play with him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, man.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance to go out and stream it, and if you don't buy it, I mean, I actually got this pretty killer cheap, and I won't talk about that, but it was cheap. And it was brand new sealed, so I couldn't complain. So I'm going to keep that. It's not going anywhere. That is my collector's item for the year.
All right, Larry, wrap yours up, and no matter how many more you got, and I'll close out the finds. Right. And let's talk about our must-haves.
I got 2 more, but I'm going to go like Mitch real quickly on these. The first is, once again, another group that you probably have never heard of, but you should, called the Bad Plus. They're a jazz group. They started around 25 years ago. And they've changed their iteration, but it's a piano-based jazz trio. But the drummer, Dave King, the bass player, and everything that they do has been must hear, especially if you like great jazz drumming. Dave King is just out of his mind, especially live. I have a few lives, but their Complex Emotions is their new album that just came out, and it's excellent. And the other one that I have, just one more, great B.B. King. This came out Record Store Day, and this is live in France. Just a fantastic performance. One of my favorite songs, Caledonia, is played on that. There's a terrific one.
Yeah, you got it on vinyl too, didn't you, Larry? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I have it on both.
Okay.
So I bought it on vinyl, right, which is right down there, right next to my Blood, Sweat, and Tears, playing in Russia. But I have a problem with my stereo system right now, and both channels aren't working. So until I fix that, I bought the CD so I could listen to it off of my PC. I'm out of control. Multiple formats. And by the way, just as information, real quickly, the Tony Levin bass player that I was talking about, he was actually offered the job of playing bass. He played on Momentary Lapse of Reason by Pink Floyd.
Okay.
He did such a good job that David Gilmour wanted him to go on tour with them and become a member of Pink Floyd. But he couldn't do it because of commitments to Peter Gabriel. But he always wondered what would have happened if he would have chosen that path.
Pretty amazing guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, he's getting positive feedback in the chat too. So somebody said it puts all the bass players to shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like they said, the one, and you were talking about, what's the name of that instrument, Blair? The
Chapman stick.
Chapman stick. There's another bass player for Dream Theater, John Mayung, I think it is. John Mayall or John Mayall. I would have to look it up, but it's MAY something. And you fill in the blank. There's an internet out there for that. AI too. The that he is pretty phenomenal. And he's really kind of a behind the scenes guy. He just kind of hangs in the back, but man, without him, that thing would just fall apart. It's so complex, all the things he's playing. So, again, I'll give a recommendation. Not a very huge band. They were at one time. Dream Theater, Mike Portnoy's back with them. And then you got, all the original members. And they just put out a recent song in October that was great.
They have an album coming out this year too, Todd.
Yeah, I think they just released that as a single. And you can go on YouTube and look at the video is excellent too. They shot it in some old house and it's great. So that's something you probably want to get your arms around, and hopefully. And Mike Portnoy is a vinyl guy. Didn't know
that's
that. COVID, he had actually
that's a group, Dream
track.
Theater, that I didn't know anything about except that I've heard of them until you pointed me to them, Todd. And
pretty great stuff.
Great music.
That's the thing between Larry and I. Larry teaches me things and I teach him things. We bounce off each other pretty well.
For sure.
So that's why there's a lot of chemistry in our channel, which we, of course, we're still building, and we certainly appreciate having to be on with you.
There's a lot of chemistry on this channel right now. Here's H2O. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. You wait till
Right
there's going to be a little hydrogen methane here in a bit.
That's right.
Y'all are too much. Larry, you're on fire today. Yes, I will make sure that Graybeards Nation and Mitch's Vinyl Corner are included in the description when this goes public from the live view. So I'll give easy access for everyone to view your channels. But definitely appreciate y'all being on here today. We still have some more content we want to get through. I know we're a little bit past the hour that we wanted to be, so we'll bleed over a little bit longer. I have an honorable mention, and I'm going to close out my final two, and I'll try to make this quick. But I had an honorable mention because it's a cool album, and a lot of people don't know it exists. I'm still in the hip-hop world real quick, but this is Bloods and Crips. They're Banging on Wax. This is their debut album. And the reason I wanted to share this is that these are actual real Bloods and Crips. They came together because they got pissed off that NWA was capitalizing on gang life. And they decided that they're going to try to monetize the game as well. They did have two breakout hits. One was from the Bloods, and one was from the Crips. But the way they did it is they split the A and B side, which is not A and B. It's, B side and C side, Blood side and Crip side on the record to make it fair. What is interesting about this, the 9 members that you see here, only 7 are still alive today. Only 2 out of the 9 are alive today. 7 have died in real life gang incidents. One's in jail like 25 years to life, and another guy, I guess he's doing all right. So these are real legit gangsters. I just thought that was super cool. I saw that in California, had to bring that up. The last hip hop, and I'm going to end with a rock record. This is just something. This was my find. That was a honorable mention. But this is Tupac's The Roses Volume 2. This closes out my Tupac collection. This was the last album I needed to have the entire discography. Which, if you collect Tupac records, they're not easy to find. There's a lot of records in that man's catalog, and a lot of them haven't been reissued. You only can find the OGs, and then you got to find them that are in good condition and playable condition that DJs haven't, scratched the hell up over the years, right? This is Tupac's poetry. He wrote a lot of poetry, and this is his poetry performed by other artists over kind of a beat. So it's almost like an open mic night when people are talking about poetry, and then you have kind of music and beats behind it. So this is a very interesting album in the collection, but that finally put a button in.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
East Coast or West Coast, my man? Biggie or Tupac?
Both. I mean, why do we have to divide talent, man? They're both amazing artists.
What are you
Because
doing?
that's the
Dividing the
thing.
country,
You and
Mitch?
me are pretty similar, man. Like
I have Biggie's
that
catalog
actually,
too, so we
it
can talk
actually
about
really
that.
shocked my wife the one day I was singing Regulators, the whole thing. She's like, "You listen to hip hop?" I'm like, I grew up with two older sisters. I was the youngest of three, and I can remember Biggie and Tupac being on MTV because my sisters would play them.
They were friends.
Oh.
So my one of my big my one of my favorite genres of music, although I do not collect it on vinyl, is 90s West Coast hip hop. I think it's the G Funk, like Warren G, Nate Dogg,
Kenny
Twins.
G.
I
I like
mean,
Kenny
they
G.
are
I
just
was
so when I'm like on the stepper or stair climber or like
sorry, dude.
exercising, doing stuff, I'll have like the chill like beats from the 90s like playing on my it's just 90s hip hop is where it's at. Today it sucks today. I can't listen to it.
Well, that's a topic for another episode.
Boy,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Boy,
I do
how
love my hip hop.
That's a loaded topic.
This is my last one. This one I picked up at our local record store, Phil's Music Exchange. Somebody mentioned this band in a chat earlier. I didn't call it out because I'm like, oh, coincidence. I grabbed an album for them. This was a cool find for me, and I got to explain why. This is Kisses Alive. This is the 75 Japanese press.
Oh.
And it has everything but the obi. So it has all the inserts, the booklet, the photos, the autographs, all the stuff that came with the 75 Japanese edition. And the cover is VG plus. The records are spotless. Whoever owned this was a collector. In fact, somebody traded in a bunch of the Japanese pressings of Kiss, and I picked up a bunch of them. There was one or two I skipped just because I either had the album already or it wasn't in my type of good condition. I'm sure other people would really appreciate it. But this was a cool find, and it was a very reasonable price from our local record store. So I just thought this was such a cool album. And may I say, I'm sorry if you disagree, but I think this is Kiss's best album. I know it's
yeah, it's pretty good.
I think it is.
Peter Criss
it is. This is the one to own.
I think it is.
It is. It is. When it's funny, time heals a lot. When Kiss came out and when that album came out, I was not a Kiss fan at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't listen to it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. One of my friends was a member of the Kiss Army. I'm like, what kind of
did you
weird
get the little,
what kind of cult do you need to belong to?
That. Yeah.
But
it's a great
going back and listening to some of the stuff, some of it wasn't bad, some of it wasn't good. But I agree with you, Louis. I think that's probably that was their peak of their powers, that album right there. And by the way, that album saved them on that label. They were not doing well sales wise, and they were in deep money wise to the label. And that album saved them and allowed them to keep going on.
There's a lot of overdubs on that album too.
Casablanca was the label.
Lots of them. Yes, Casablanca.
Yeah, Casablanca.
Yep.
So they had to sweeten it up, not make it so live to make it more sellable, I suppose.
The Japanese.
So many live albums are like
really
that.
Good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I know we wanted to talk about some things that we're looking forward to going in 2025. But earlier, while we were getting everything ready, we said, hey, maybe we should take just a moment and go around the room and say, was there anything cool from a hardware standpoint or accessory standpoint that we picked up this year? So maybe we can go around. We'll reset the circle. So Larry will go, then Mitch, and then Todd. We'll give Todd all the time he needs.
Yeah, let's not make this confusing, please.
Yeah.
Let's just follow the circle.
Don't confuse Todd more than we already have tonight.
Yeah, I barely got this damn thing running today. We had lights out. Be glad of something. Not that I'm here.
Okay. So I already mentioned it, and I don't even know where it is. It's in a box somewhere around here. Might be in my work bag. But I'm in the middle, as Todd knows, of getting ready to try to revamp and upgrade my stereo, my home stereo. Part of it for necessity, like I mentioned earlier, my right channel is not working at all, so I'm listening to left channel on the music if I listen to it there. So really, I'm cutting music to my PC, I'm burning it, then putting it to my Sony Walkman. My Sony Walkman, I have this beautiful set of earbuds, and I can listen to music all day long in those with that. The FLAC sounds pristine. The DAC in the Sony Walkman is very, very clean. And that's about it. That's about it. So from a hardware perspective, I'll pass it over to Mitch.
Larry, why don't you just listen to a bunch of mono records?
I do have a lot of mono records, but
Yeah,
I
I
know,
feel like
still
you have the
coming
right
from
setup
one.
for it right now.
A knife.
If I listen to mono records, I still want to hear it from two speakers. Isn't that crazy?
We can come over there and do some, series wiring or something, Larry.
Yeah,
Without burning the
absolutely.
place down. But yeah, we
Yep.
do need to get you a new amplifier. And we've
Yeah.
talked about that. You and I have talked about that. And
Yeah.
what I would not recommend is going to Louis for that. Because you're going to be in the $100,000 audio room at some point.
Yep.
I will only recommend the best to you, Larry. Just think of that.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Mitch.
I think the best thing I bought from a hardware perspective, I'm not even gonna really call it hardware because I promised my wife I wouldn't upgrade anything for 5 years.
Ooh.
But
Did you lose a bet? How did that happen?
no, it's definitely fair. I splurged and went and bought the MoFi Studio Deck, the Wharfdale Lintons, all of that, and plus, this year is my last year being on active duty before I retire next year.
Awesome.
Other obligations, this year. So eventually, like I said, I'll upgrade eventually, get a new turntable in probably 5-6 years from there. But I did buy the Humming Guru ultrasonic record cleaner this year,
big.
which I think was
Nice.
definitely an investment in itself.
Yep.
It works wonders. I highly recommend people get it. I know people have the degritter, which I can't justify spending $3,000. I can't.
Let's see.
I
like the old
$299
ultrasonic.
To me, that's a mortgage payment. I would rather put the money towards that. But if you are getting into records, you're really into the hobby, you've got a couple hundred like me, you really want to make them last and make it an investment for $500. Get the Humming Guru. I think it works great.
That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of bulk cleaners and this and that, and they're always a pain to set up. You got to set it all up, then you got to get the water and all the pH or whatever right in it. Wear rubber gloves. I work with mainly acids and sandpaper to get the scratches out. And for some reason it doesn't work out well for me. But I think we haven't pointed something out that's huge. And that we do have to point out the fact that we have as a proud patriot myself, we have a active duty Marine Corps. What are you, like a sergeant, staff sergeant?
Master sergeant.
Master sergeant, guy's a master sergeant.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, brother. Yeah, we love you. Good work.
Thank you, Mitch.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then 20 years too, so you're a retired man.
Yeah, I'll
You earned
hit
every
20 in
minute.
September, but then I took promotion, so I'll get out early next summer.
Nice, buddy.
So this year's about, slowly getting what I want to do with my life when I grow up, kind of thing, job searching this summer and seeing what everything I want to do. But, for 2025, this year I'll probably slow down a little bit. Not mainly a lot, probably a good bit. I just bought a truck too the other day. Brand new truck. I got rid of the Challenger. Yeah, it was fun while I had it, but I needed a truck again.
Was it an impulse buy?
The Challenger?
Yeah, the truck or whatever.
The truck, no, because the Challenger, I was stationed in California from 2021 to 2023, and my truck had taken a shit out there. It was during COVID. It wasn't a good time to buy, but something fun to zip around out there for a couple of years and get into parking spots without, taking up 3 different spots because it's California. So
If you could have bought that truck in another 3 years, you might get a cassette player in it.
hey, you never know. I remember going to high school with my 93 Subaru had a tape deck that I put the little cassette that had the wire so you could play your CD.
Absolutely.
I remember doing
Top
that.
of the line. Yeah, I told
Same
you
here.
guys about my surround. I have a surround sound system in my car, and it plays those DVD DTS surround sounds.
Oh,
They're hard to find. I got one right here. This is a DTS Porcupine Tree. and you put it in there, and there's, you know, the speakers are all the ones. So your front speakers are the two tweeters on the top, and then the doors are like left, right, and then there's left, right, rear, and then you got a subwoofer in there. So it's a factory thing. It was a factory deal I bought. Yeah, that cost me $40,000, I think, or something like that. No, it was less than that.
I mean, what the
$38,000.
Wagoneers have the Macintosh systems in them.
Nice.
The
Yes,
high-end
they
Wagoneers.
do.
Really?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
insane.
Yes, it
Wagoneers
is.
That
are
is
so nice to
insane.
drive. Oof.
Yeah, and I've always been thinking, well, what we need to have like Atmos for your car. I guess I got it. I don't think I'll ever have that option of hearing it, but maybe if I keep asking, somebody might go, "Hey, bro, jump in." I'm like, I don't know.
All right, Todd, since you have the mic, what did you pick up?
Yeah, so I like mine, relatively brief. The I bought that Weem Ultra 2 preamp this year. It's a great streaming device. It goes in, it has room correction. It's probably the best A to D you can get for like $380. And you know, I do things on a budget for obvious reasons. I like a lot of crap. So I look at it this way: spend a lot, you know, little, buy a lot. But so that ends up just being a big heap in the house of stuff. But this thing is amazing. It's replaced like 2 other pieces of gear. And if you get a chance, check out the Weem Ultra 2. It's like $380. Best $380 I ever spent. Does Q-Buzz, high res. It's got optical, obviously, and of course Wi-Fi. And so high res audio. It's not vinyl. It's high res audio. I like to say.
It's just better than CD.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'll stick it back in the analog domain. I got some nice toys this year. I think the thing that I'm really excited about, and it's actually the newest thing that I've added to the stack here, is the new preamplifier, which is what you can see back there with the dual lights. It's the Sutherland Dos Locos, which is the transimpedance dual mono preamp. It's their flagship preamp. So I'm gonna wait because I'm gonna do an in-depth review on it, but I'm gonna spoil that. It sounds amazing. And I gotta tell you, as somebody who has MC carts, man, not having to worry about messing around with loads and gains and everything, it's just simplicity. It just takes all that complexity right out, and it sounds fabulous right out of the box. I don't know how to explain it other than you have to come and experience it.
Are you closing your ears to this, Lair? You don't want to hear this is bad.
The only MC I have is an album by MC5. Kick out the jams.
It's a great album, by the way. It's a great album. All right, guys, let's try to button this up here on what we're looking forward to the most going into this year, 2025. And we'll keep the same format, not to confuse anybody. So, Larry, go ahead, buddy. What are you looking forward to, man?
All right, I got a couple, but I'm going to go through them really fast. The first one is Ringo Starr is coming out with a country album. That sounds very strange. He actually came out with a country album early in his career. He's turning back to it because it's his true love. The songs on it are co-written by T-Bone Burnett. Alison Krauss, Larkin Poe are all going to be on the album with them. I know this is going to be, I don't know if anybody is a fan of this, but Spinal Tap is making another movie, and they have another soundtrack that they've already recorded. That's coming out this year.
That's cool.
Yes.
Is it the same actors, Lair?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
of course.
That's really cool.
You know,
John Anderson and the Band Geeks, they're coming out with a live album doing Yes music. There was, for those of you, like I said, I'm a King Crimson fan. There was a tour this past year, called the Beat Tour. Steve Vai, Tony Levin, Danny Carey on drums, and Adrian Below did a pretty huge tour. I don't know that this is going to happen, but I'm hoping that it results in a live album recording of that event. And the same thing with a group that I'm a big fan of called Zebra. They're still touring. They've been touring for the last 12 months and the last 40 years. Same trio same personnel. They're coming out in their 40th year. They're coming out with a live album, a studio album, and a live DVD this year.
Wow.
So that's what I'm looking forward to this year.
Very nice. Very nice. Mr. Mitch?
I think it'd be really interesting to see what Chad does with the UHQR. Like, I don't think they've even said what they're going to release this year on UHQR.
Steely Dan.
I know the last Steely Dan album, KD Lied. That's the last one I think in the catalog. That's
Royal Scam.
Released. Oh, and Royal Scam. Yeah, those are the two.
Good
I think he's had some real good success with that. I bought Gaucho because I think Gaucho's better than Asia, in my opinion. But it'll be really interesting to see what that entails because I don't know. I think last year with the Waltz for Debbie and the Sunday of the Village Vanguard, I kind of felt, and this is just me speaking, like maybe they could have done something else because those ones just came out on the craft recordings, which I have both those. They are phenomenal.
The OGCs.
Yeah, the OJCs, and that's another catalog that I'm really happy to see. And what else I really hope they do Bill Evans' Portrait in Jazz. I think that one needs a proper reissue. I think that one. I know the ERC version is out of the mono and stereo, and that's another thing. I would like to get an ERC record this year just to hear what it's all about, and hopefully not have any technical or difficulties with it. Because I know Louis, I really like the one that you did on the Kenny Burrell. And I almost actually bought an OG of that Kenny Burrell, but I'm like, maybe I'll hold out for the ERC. I'm just not sure, but yeah. My wife's like, you're not buying an ERC one. You hate that. Everybody that talks about it doesn't like that label, and I'm like, they're just really niche. But if I can just get one to just see what it's all about, then maybe I don't know.
If I mentioned a label to my wife, she'd have absolutely no idea what I was talking about.
Well, I watch a lot of Mike from the
unless it was Blue Label,
and he
Black Label.
Black Label. Yeah.
Well, she's always had to sit through like a lot of Mike from the In-Groove videos. Who I really like. Mike, I really like what he's done with the vinyl community, but he shits on ERC all the time. Like he hates them. Like he does not like them. And she's like, "Why do you want to listen to them?" And I'm like, "I just want to hear what it's about." She's like, "How much they cost?" And I'm like, I show her, and she's like, "Oh my God, no."
Yeah.
Which I agree. I think they're overpriced, just to be honest. I think that's a lot.
I'll save my comments for another time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you and I have talked about ERC before.
Just protect the innocent here.
Yes, exactly. All right, but I mean, I agree with you. I'd love to know the direction of the UHQR series and what's going on with it. I was a little bit disappointed with the Doors LA Woman, to be honest. I think the OG pressing's better.
I think so too. I was
a little bit disappointed on that. So I hope that I hope to see better things coming out of that label and for them to leverage that process for records that really deserve it.
I will say the LA Woman and from Rhino blows the original out of the water. It's really good. Kevin,
you think so?
Phenomenal. I think so. I did a side by side, and mine's sentimental because it was my father-in-law's, and he gave it to me from his collection. And I thought there was a little. The original OG is still great. If you can find one, it's good. Yeah. I think there's just a little more bass with the Kevin Gray one. It's got a little more oomph.
I missed on the Doors box. I'm hoping they reissue them, to be honest. So
they are starting in February. They're going to do them individually.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to do the comparison because I did the comparison with, and you can even see I have I play Riders of the Storm both on the OG and the UHQR. I mean, you can hear it yourself. I think the OG sounds better. And I think everybody has commented said the OG sounds better. So I'd be curious to do the same with the Rhino. Anyway, I'm sorry, Todd, taking away from your time.
No, I mean, how are we doing on time? Are we just, there's no time with this?
This is going to wrap us out. We're at 90 minutes. I think we're starting to lose people probably at this point.
Yeah. No, I mean, and obviously this will go up in recording, so it might be something. But the only thing I really wanted to say was I'm not really looking for anything specifically. I kind of keep my eye out. Larry keeps me involved. You guys, I learn from everybody. I learn from the record shows. I learn from well, I don't know what I really want yet. I mean, I don't need to have this a completist thing. I would like to, but if it comes up, it comes up. I don't, I don't go too crazy there. But this year, I think what I'm going to start doing is discovering more music from around the world, more of the indie bands from around rock music from around the world. And, I've started doing, me and Larry are both working together on that with some videos we got about Canada coming up. And then and I just did one on Denmark, which, we'll, I might delete that. I don't know. It's not a bad video. It's a little too, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. What is it?
A little too Danish?
Yes. Yeah, that's right, Larry. A little too damn Danish. That's exactly what it is. And that's really it for me. I'm gonna try new things. I've been listening to the same classic rock for 40 years. I think it's really time to start, tightening it up. But more than 40 years.
All right. I got two. Mitch, you kind of already alluded to one. I'm still waiting for Katie Lied, man. Yeah, I've ever since, and I the Royal Scam as well, but I'm more looking forward to Katie Lied, and that was supposed to come out, I think, 4 times already, and it hasn't come out yet. So
I thought you said Katie Lang for a second.
Lang, I don't know.
Yes, sir, that's it.
Katie Lang.
Meant.
I'm sorry. We have folks are laughing too because we have some AI in the background that every time we say things, AI pops up. So we got Katie Lang coming up on the screen. The other album I picked 2. So Steely Dan, UHQR, Katie Lied. Would love to get my hands on that. I will fight Mitch. I like Asia better than Gaucho, but they're both great albums, and they both sound amazing. I just prefer Asia more. This is no, I'm going to end with this. So here you go. All judgment. Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, Mo-Fi, One Step. I have the One Step of Thriller, and it is fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, the detail that comes out of that record blows my mind. Every time I put it on, I'm like, where was all this music and every copy of every that I ever had prior to this? It is phenomenal. I'm hoping they give Off the Wall the same treatment.
Who plays lead guitar in Thriller?
That would be Eddie Van Halen.
Bingo.
I didn't even hear the question.
Who plays lead guitar in Thriller? Eddie Van Halen.
Gotcha. But, it's like I didn't even hear the question. Sorry.
But Louis, I agree with you. If you can get past the reputation that Michael Jackson had, both in his life and with some of his music, those 2 albums, they really are amazing if you can appreciate them.
So many hits on both. There's not, arguably maybe 1 or 2 dead tracks here and there, but you could listen to the whole album. The whole album is great,
Yeah.
And and there was a lot put into both of those albums musically. There was a lot. They
sound great too.
They sound phenomenal.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that it doesn't get messed up. That one comes out pretty well.
Yep.
Well, folks, I think that's a wrap. Todd, Larry, Mitch, is there anything else you want to share before we button this up?
No. Yeah, just
no.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, I was going to say we respect the fact that you had us on your channel. Our little names are not correct there, but me and Larry are Graybeards Nation, and it's kind of a music channel. It doesn't focus necessarily on just vinyl. We talk about different kind of interesting facts. We're just trying to find ourselves right now. We'll get into that niche, and I think we're keeping it fresh, right, Larry?
I just want to have fun.
I do too.
Well, if you need help finding yourself, just look in a mirror. That always helps me.
So are we prepping you for old guy jokes?
No.
Yeah, Larry's rubbing off on me.
I got it covered.
And Mitch, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a 30-second plug about your channel, and then I'll close it out.
All right. Well, I'm Mitch from Mitch's Vinyl Corner. You can find me at Mitch's Vinyl Corner. I post videos about my collection, about vinyl hauls and things like that, and just really just want to show, my journey and how I've started and have enjoyed vinyl for over 20 years now. Been slacking on the channel. It's been a couple weeks, but with the holidays and everything, I will be dropping a video tomorrow on my haul that my wife bought me for Christmas, which is all grunge. So if you're into grunge, you're definitely gonna like this next video. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Looking
me too.
forward to it. And I think the community can look forward to the four of us collaborating even more. We're all North Carolina boys, so we're all sort of in the same neck of the woods, just a couple hour radius from each other. So we're hoping to connect up on some future, maybe shows or something. We haven't really figured it all out yet, but we just want to thank the VC for having us as part of your entertainment for the night. I'll put the links of everybody's channel in the description when this goes live. Thank y'all. I hope that you have a wonderful 2025 and that you guys get the gear and the records that you really want. We'll see you on the next video.
All right.
See you,
guys. Thank you.